forum. So this is lesson number 10 in the basis of calculation course. There will be enough difficult positions coming, don't you worry. But I wanted just to tell the story. I was showing this position in the Quality Chess Academy camp last year on Greece. And I gave everyone in the room, and it was from like 14-year-old Russian with 2350, 12-year-old American with 2400, and all the way to Sam Shankland and Salgado and a number of other strong GMs, mainly GMs in the room. And I gave them 3-4 minutes for this position, and nobody saw it. Then I gave them 1 minute with black to play and win. And 4 or 5 out of the 11 saw it. So today I'm gonna today I'm going to talk about some different common mistakes in calculation, and because this was there, so you'll recognize a few of the games. I hope they'll be okay. I'm not planning on spending too much time on them. So here, indeed, there is a random chance. Black played e5, which looks very tasty and very natural. But there is a basic tactical target with a rook hanging. And we can also see there's a tactical target here. And in that case, if the queen was here, it would be winning, but we can achieve it in this way. And either there is check on g5, or it's going really well. The game was taken from an article by Mark Dredski in one of his books about attacking with opposite colored bishops. And the topic is common mistakes in calculation. And he didn't have this bishop takes g2 in the book. It was before he had it thoroughly computer checked. The book's probably like 22 years old. Yes, I did put it in the forum, well observed. Yes, he didn't have this mistake, and there was a number of other mistakes in the article. And after going through all the games in his article, I basically came to the conclusion that his general guidance was not useful. So it's a book by Matt Dredski in the Chess Excellence series, where he followed Simagin's idea that in positions with opposite colored bishops, you should always fight for the initiative. The initiative was more important than other times. And after analyzing all the games and checking all the games in the article and checking some other games, I came to the conclusion that there is nothing special about positions with opposite colored bishops, besides the fact that they are harder to play. Okay, let's move to the next example. So here, this is from the same article here. And I'd like you to spend just 1 minute doing the 3 questions. Where are the weaknesses, what's the worst placed piece, and what's your opponent's idea, and just see what you come up with. And then spam me. Just 1 minute trying to answer these questions. We're black, yes. Robert, you can just go for it. Anything you can do in 60 seconds. So just to make it clear here, when I say try to answer the 3 questions, I mean try to answer the 3 questions. Well done, Greg. So there are people who are just saying move, like queen g5. Okay, white plays f4, and you probably haven't convinced me about anything. Let's try to do the analysis. So okay, so I'm going to do the analysis here. Very simple. So there's a little pressure here. So this is definitely a weakness. We maybe have a weak pawn here as well. The worst placed piece are the rooks, they're not contributing at all. And most importantly, what is the opponent's idea? Well, we should see this tactic. Now, if there was no such tactic, let's say it didn't exist. Let's imagine that the pawn is here. We're just imagining it. If the pawn was an h6, I'm not saying we're playing h6, I'm saying if the pawn was an h6, what move would we play? Like black to play in this position, what move would you play? That's a very bizarre move, Araja. Rook d4, ed4, no. Yeah, I see the idea queen c6, but it's not going to work with mate. So people still want this queen g5, just provoking f4. White is very happy to play f4. The idea that black is going to deliver checkmate on g2 is just not realistic. You don't improve your rook by playing f5. I play ef6 and your position is destroyed. So far only one person saying rook d7. This is the most natural move. You put the rook over. You simply improve your position. Now, here, in this position, if we play rook d7, then we're just lost, right? Bishop takes h7. This is here we have the second common mistake. We are afraid of the opponent's ideas. We see an idea for the opponent, and we immediately disregard our own chances. Well, lost, Greg, could be a strong word, but with a bad position. So the real question is here. Okay, so there's a question here, if rook d7, can white play a4? Yes, he can, but I think he will very soon find after bishop c6, queen e8, after rook ft8, that the pawn on a4 is a liability, and you don't really want to take on c5 anyway with your bishop. Okay, so just a question here. So yes, this here is a huge problem for black, because suddenly this bishop became very good. You probably have to expand, Boris, but you're close. White has reasonable attacking prospects. No, today's topic is calculation. Calculation, we have a result, the conclusion at the end. No, Boris, candidates at the end. So here we want to play rook d7. Yes, you can play h6, and then you're not in the same time. White is coming faster, and you have played h6 or g6, either way. And in the game he played g6. But if you can play rook d7, you want to play rook d7. Because you see the opponent has an idea, it doesn't mean that you want to respect it. So Vatsal has found the idea. Kostas, you're not entirely accurate. So here, so the idea is if rook d7, bishop takes h7, yes, Boris. King takes h7, queen h5 check, king g8, rook h4. If you play f5 here, e f6, bishop, rook takes f6, you're going to get absolutely clobbered. There are so many attacking possibilities. And if you give the queen, as is suggested, queen takes h4, queen h4, then what? After rook d2 in the end, we have bishop c3 or bishop d4. So queen h4, queen h4. Aratya's got it. Greg's got it. Robert does not have it. Krishna does not have it. Yes, Arun, we give the queen, but then afterwards, Gaurang, sorry for pronunciation, you have the right move. Okay, I'm going to put it on the board, which is sort of like the two-step we do, because I know that we have different levels in the class, and some people struggle with things a bit ahead. Yes, Doc has it as well. Gaurang, you have it twice now, I think. So here, black to play. No, not rook d2 and not knight d4. Not rook ft8. Jitendra. Oh, that will be Shreyas. You have it. Now there's a lot of, yeah, I cannot keep up with all the names now. Now if we have it here, knight a4, bishop c5, d4 and c5, and the bishop's trapped. And here the bishop cannot be defended because of background mate. And here black's better. So it's a common mistake to think that you see the opponent has an idea, and then as a gut reaction, you try to prevent it. You respect it too much. While here in the game, black played g6, and we'll see some other moments from this game. And we'll see that quite a costly thing to have done long term. h6 would also be compromising our position. We have to play one or the other at some point, but we maybe want to delay it as much as possible. So, so Aratya was saying maybe a4 here, but I think in the case of these kind of things, counterplay against a4 should be fine. And yeah, here rook d4, but also maybe after a4, I have to at some point respect the threats and play this at some point. I haven't thought it through, but for me, the idea of bishop a3, oh, we have queen g5 as well sometimes, maybe f4. I'm not sure we want to give white f4 as a tempo, but yeah, I would have to think just like you have to think, but I also have to talk, and I can only use one part of the face at the same time. So let's go to the next position. Let's see another common mistake here, this time here. So this is really one of the most common mistakes. Which is thinking there's only one move. Now here, I think you can see, if you thought there was only one good move in the position, you can see what white played very quickly. I Shia, you have a very strange line. Queen takes f2 in that line. Yeah, so people can see what white played, but what should you play? Yes, great, got it. Gauran, it's got it. If I don't say your name, you don't have it. Ellen's got it. Ritvas, Robert, Araja, Costis. Owen, I don't, maybe you just miswrote. So if you play Queen G8, then I have Queen F4 with Perpetual. Krishna's got it. Arnav. So what's the best move here? So there's a lot of you giving me moves now and you're not hearing your name. That's because your move is wrong. What is white's move here? The best move. Vatsal, you found the best move? Yoga, you found the right move? Shreyas, you found the right move? Boris found it? But at least you're coming with a lot of different moves. And Bishop G5 was played in a game and the game was a draw. So I'm sure you have ideas. Sai, you found the right move? I think Queen E7, Queen F4 is just perpetual. And here is Robert, you have a strange line. I think in the second move, black will play Queen F2. And we probably can still make a draw. Owen, you got it? Brian, you have it? Aaron, you have it? Mukund, I think you missed Queen F4 draw. There are other Roberts, yes, there are more than one. Trisha, you have it. Robert is actually a very popular name, especially among people called Robert. Comedy, look elsewhere. Carlos, you have it. No, Jakob, that was not a very good move order. Black has King H6 in the end. Russian, Thalia, and Jakob. G3, there's probably more than one Jakob here today, and I'm not just talking about myself, but also beyond that. Okay, let's move on. Here, Dredski, without thinking, played Bishop G5. Here and there, some of you suggested F4, but here we have King G4. Then there is a suggestion of King G3. Here black has G5. And things are going the wrong way. Right. So the right move is G3. And black actually doesn't have a move here. If G5, we have Queen takes G8. And if here, mate. So this is a very, very common thing. I see it even at players at the top level. Yeah, I know that a number of people have Bishop G5 and then try G3. And it's a very important little technique to be able to automatically change the move order in your head with variations. So after, yeah, if you play Bishop G5 first and then G3, then black has King H6. If we reverse the move order, he does not. just this ability to see option and always look for options. It's really important. When you think there's only one move, have you actually checked? Are there other ideas? And the moment you start looking for other ideas, often you find that there are more than one move in the situation. Okay, so this here is a position with the same idea. Here, white has a very nice position, and I think this one here, I'm just going to show you because it's not so interesting. Yes, the mistakes we've covered so far, and there are many. There are many mistakes. So I'm just covering them, some of them, and I'm trying to cover some of the most important ones. So the first one we had was missing random chances. We had this bishop takes g2, queen d5 thing. And yes, black is to play. For flip the board, black's to play. You are a genius. So Vatsalya variation is exactly what's interesting about this position. Try to find out where you're wrong. So we had missed random chances. Then we have thinking there's only one move, which was the previous one with bishop g5. Well, this one was actually be the same topic. Then we had being scared of the opponent's ideas, or being scared of ghosts, as I have it in my notes. So here, there are different options. So here it's very tempting to take on g2. And this is the line we're going to look at. And there are other moves in the position as well. I think if you play rook h6, can white play queen f6? I think that should give some good drawing chances. I am not sure what is the best move in that position, because this here is in my notes for a very simple reason, because of the way white played after queen takes g2. So the game is between Nepomniachtchi and Elyanov, played 10 years ago. So okay, so everyone here I think sees queen takes g2, queen takes g2, rook takes g2, king takes g2. Oh yeah, rook h6, rook takes f7 is interesting. Okay, take 2 times on g2, bishop d7, e6 check, king f8, and then we can take on d7 or what? Of course, I'm giving away the game, but e takes d7, bishop g7. I think I play king e7, so it doesn't work very much. Can I repeat the line? Yes, we take 2 times on g2, play bishop takes d7, and white plays e6 check. We need to evaluate this line. I'm not sure when you want to play a3. So I'm finding from the chat that people are maybe a little confused. People want to interject bishop a3 check. I think that gives me a chance to put the pawn on c3, and my king comes on c4 and b3. So I have in my notes this line as a possible way for black to play for an advantage. But in the game he took. Check. and here. And well, we all become more familiar with Nepomniachtchi because of the candidates tournament, but he has this reputation of playing very fast. If you saw his game against Ding Liren in the press conference, there was, when he was shown various variations, beautiful variations where his opponent could have saved the game, he was like, oh, if my opponent had seen this, he should have been checked for anti-cheating. Which I think is very symptomatic of Nepomniachtchi, the way I see him, which is that he plays very fast. In that game, I don't think he spent more than 5-6 minutes on any move. And then he thinks that the deep things cannot be seen in chess, so he doesn't look for them. So here there's some suggestions: bishop a3, king e8, e7. I think after c3, c2, and c1, we are approaching a draw. Maybe I'll play c2 and then c5. King takes e7, and yes, you can take on c5. For check, I move the king and I have 3 passed pawn. I will win. The game went like this, which is an interesting endgame. So people say that Nepomniachtchi is very optimistic. This is certainly the case. But he also does play very fast. There was a rapid game when he just came out. You're right, Vatsal. There was a rapid game just when he came out. He played with Aronian in the tournament, and he had played so fast that Aronian thought they were still in his preparation and just gave a perpetual or repetition automatically without thinking. But actually, Nepomniachtchi was just playing fast, and he didn't know him at the time and didn't know that this is what he did. So here we can see that this endgame, piece up for white, is actually very difficult. It's just lost. But in calculation, we would probably think of it as just lost. I'm sure that Nepomniachtchi just took on d7 without thinking. Now, if I tell you, and this is something you should do always, every move you should always look if you have other options. It's just basic. There's so many players who don't do it. And now people are coming. Because it's actually not a terribly difficult position. If you play bishop g7, I play king e7. Bishop f6, I play king takes e6. I think, or king f6. I'm not sure what you are. Ratio, if you play bishop e5, I play bishop takes e6. I'm going to win. Yeah, there's a number of people who are pointing out that white had this option. During a game, we will not know the conclusions. I know the conclusions because I sat and analyzed it with a computer, and I know that's sort of cheating, but I cannot really give a lecture without knowing what's happening. But here, this is a typical opposite color bishop ending. White is deprived of his greatest asset, the pawn that actually won the game in the end, the passed f pawn. Now he only has these passed pawns on the other side. And it's very difficult for him to break through the fortress. During a game, probably evaluate the two endings and we'll probably think that this here is the better chance. I analyzed it. And I have different attempts here. So we can try this one here. And there's no great progress. So you have to try to sorry, play on both flanks. Yeah, again, no great progress. It is not going to go too much into theory of bishop endings and opposite called bishop endings. But essentially anything to do with bishop endings is revolving around fortresses. One player says you can come this far and no further, and the other player will try to prove him wrong. Fortresses are generally the idea of endings, bishop endings. And here, I think e takes f7 is a fortress. You're absolutely welcome to take a screenshot and show me on the forum that I'm wrong. But it wouldn't even change my opinion, which is that it is really the chance. So if you find a win for black, you post it on the forum. If you want to post games on the forum, if you look for Nino's explanation, fortresses are typical of bishop endgames. It's yeah, I think it's very true. I've written so in in-game play. A good question here. How far would you have to calculate to prefer e takes f7 in the game? How do you take screenshots? Normally on your keyboard, there will be a button saying screenshots. Someone says here, Windows button plus screen button. Shreyas is saying no. Okay, I'm saying yes. How far would I calculate in a game to prefer e takes f7? I would probably look at sample lines. Alt plus print screen for someone. I would do sample lines. I know that I'm able to miss things, and for that reason, I would get some impressions. But the idea that I can calculate this further than 2-3 moves, and there's so many possible options, I wouldn't. But I would try to think of scenarios like, if the pieces get to here, if the pieces get to here, if the pieces get to here, can I break in? Especially if I take an f7, I would try to see if I can set up a scenario in my mind where I can break in. I would try to look at different variations to try to understand the positions and my possibilities. So we have a question here. Could we just describe the situation like this? The bishop can be used as a diversion. The f-pawn cannot be used as a diversion. The f-pawn can, that the f-pawn is stronger than bishop. It seems to be true in this position. But yes, many passed pawns are very difficult for white to keep track on. Fewer passed pawns are easier. And that's mainly why it's making a draw. Black actually won't be using the light squared bishop for anything, but the passed pawn will be very useful. You can see the white's defense is entirely based on keeping the dark squares. But here I think Nepomniachtchi, he just took on d7 without thinking. And Boris correctly points out that in opposite colored bishops, there are many themes about how far apart the passed pawns are before they can undermine the bishop's ability to control them. And Kusha is saying opposite colored bishops by Motilov will be helpful. I'm hoping it will be good. Alexander is a good friend of mine, and yeah, I was talking to him about something else, and he was saying, "Oh, a bit bored sitting at home all the time at the moment, I was like, why don't you come and join us? We're going to have an Easter camp. Please tell all your friends about the Easter camp. We are able to do these kind of things because we sell extra tickets, we get new members. And if we don't get new members from these extra things like the Gelfand thing and now the Easter camp, we will have to stop doing them. What is the Easter camp? 11th to 13th of April, we will have a total of 12 hours of lessons, which are not in our normal schedule. And we will have 2 guest coaches. Actually, we will have 3. One of them is not really as a coach, he's here as a player, which is Pragnananda, who will join Ramesh to talk for 2 hours about his very successful year of 2019. And every class will be 2 hours. And it is free for members. Please tell all your friends about it. It's possible to sign up for, I think, $59 just for it, or you can sign up for a month for $99. If you're already a member, which everyone here are, you can just join the lessons. You don't have to pre-register or anything at all. And we have 3 people joining us, which is Pragnananda, we have Motilev, and we have Yusupov. And it's the 11th to 13th of April, which is Easter, which is a Christian and a Jewish holiday. The Jewish holiday is called Passover, but it's the same time. If I'm entirely wrong about when the Passover is, you can tell me. So the game we already saw, E takes D7. You can look up the game if you want again, but I'm going to move on. Nepomniachtchi against Ilyanov, 2010. I'm going to move back here. So a common mistake for us, which we're going to see in a few examples, is missing the opponent's chance. So you probably recognize the game already here. So in this position, because we know where we're going, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. I'm going to give you the next ones instead to think. But here, in this position, Black played Rook G8. And after Bishop G5, B2, Bishop F6, he took here. And White had played King H2. And now Black's in a lot of trouble. And well, you know where we're going from here on. So in this position here, if Black had realized this King H2 threat, he would have found B2, take, and Rook G8. King G8 also works. And here we have a complicated position. It's definitely, we could have spent a long time calculating it. They said this would give a draw here, but no, not so. And here. But here the only move is B2. And after takes, then we have King G8, where we're in time to take here. And we had Rook G8 also, where this time this works. So this is just to mention, so we know the theme of missing the opponent's idea. What Black seemingly missed in the game from afar was King H2. Now we have seen many games with this over the years, and I think if anyone actually looks for it, they wouldn't miss it. But if you don't look for it, then you can miss it. Yeah, here Queen C1, and we were already there. Good. So now comes the part of the show where where I will show my own mistakes, because I also try to improve my calculation, and I try to improve and so on. And I have a little study group with a few friends. We look at the same exercises. We show up online. We use PlayChess, but you can do it anyway, any which way. And we try to solve why is it Captain America on top. This is what I have my computer set to automatically write. I don't know why. It's a lack of having a real humor attempt to just write something, I think, because it always in ChessBase always saves your name. So I just put Captain America. Not a special Captain America fan, actually. I don't know. I really have no explanation of why I did it. I've been asked so many times. Okay, so here, the four of us, all reasonable players, 24, 2500, just in between, we made the same mistake. So it's white to play. And I'm not going to tell you the mistake yet in theme. I want to give you a few minutes to think. So it's not elementary. I'm going to give you 3-4 minutes to think. So I'm going to give a few things away here. So first of all, knight c6, queen f6 doesn't lead anywhere. Here you can play the suggested rook f1 here, and I think black can play rook a8, and it's a normal position. So the correct move here, just to give that first, is knight d3. After moves, then e4, knight f6, and queen a6, and white is better. The mistake we all made in the group was we all calculated e4. Now, my variations were revolving around rook e3, rook b4, queen d3, and there was a very nice line I'd seen, which was here, here, and here, and then queen d4, and winning. And I missed, just like my three friends, knight e3. Simply missed it. Didn't see it. If queen f6 here, we were all looking forward to knight g4. And here white is better. We had lots of lines. They're not really so interesting because they're better in many different ways. And we had some very complex lines with a sacrifice here and then d6 coming, which were certainly not obvious. And we checked them afterwards. But after knight e3, fe3, black has queen g5. And it's a total disaster for white. Not queen f6, and then white has knight d3, queen f3, knight b2, rook b2, and then queen f1, and it's perpetual. But here, for example, queen c3 or queen d4, very similar. We have the queen comes here, and it's queen e2 is coming, and queen h2 is coming, and here it's clearly going in the wrong direction. If rook d2, then rook takes, queen takes e5, for example. And it's clear things have gone wrong. So this is a very typical mistake. When I go through the homework club, there are some times when I mention to people, you're simply not looking at the ideas. So here, Václav mentions this line. Yes, we can try queen e3 and rook f2, but for sure, black's doing fine here. Since we are in the starting position, white, and we are hoping to be doing well, I think after queen takes e5, we'll just say it's no reason to look at that. We don't want to analyze the opponent's many wins. And by the way, this is another common mistake, which is not on my list. Continue in calculating after you have a clear conclusion. So, yeah, again, the variation isn't relevant because we have clearly things are going in the wrong direction. And this is something that I recommend a lot, is having this line of thinking, which is, are things going in the right direction? Ashia, you downloaded the sheet before it was changed. I have changed it to Tuesday the 7th. It is on Tuesday. And you can always, and I strongly, strongly recommend all of you to do this, download the Google Calendar on your phone. If you have a iPhone, which some of you will have let's see, I have to do this. Then it still works. So, And that way you will not miss the classes. Okay, let me show you another example here. And this is like my little moment of glory, because I was right in this position. Now here, I would like you to compare these two moves, c4 and queen d5. Araja says that Google Calendar is not useful on a laptop. It is useful on a laptop. If you want to know when the classes are, it's useful. So the question was, because there was a typo in the homework sheet, I tried to use a lot of time checking it's the right side to move, that I haven't, taken the position from the wrong move or something like that. And I made a typo of having Tuesday the 8th of April, but it is Tuesday the 7th of April. I simply miscounted. So here's another common question. I don't have a printer. How can I send my homework? You use the PDF editor, and you can type the solutions into the PDF. But you have to hurry. It has to be delivered 1 hour and 55 minutes ago. So very, very soon. Very, very soon, I'm going to start checking them. And essentially at the moment, if you deliver a little bit late, I might still mark it because we have only like 30 people submitting. If we have 50 or 60 people submitting, then I will not mark people who are late. So question, where do I see the homework? If you go to our website and you log in, you can download it. So here the question is, c4, queen d5. Which of these two moves does not lose? That is the question. You have about 1 minute to answer. That's another common question. Is it okay if the homework is partially complete? Yes, it's absolutely okay. It will make it faster for me to check it. I really do not have a problem with that. And there was one more typo. For those who downloaded early, you can submit by Sunday the 6th. Yes, by Sunday. I will not take submissions tomorrow night. I'll be checking them tonight, so you have to send them in the next 1-2 hours. Just seen this in my book. I don't think it's in my book, this position. So the thing is just which move can you refute? That's the thing. You try to refute the moves. The variations are, is excelling at calculation. Is it really in that book? I just took it for Dresky right now. Maybe he took it from me. I don't think so, but though. We were solving from Dresky's book, Chess Tests, where a lot of the positions were some I've seen from other books also, but so okay. So Owen says I can refute queen d5. I don't think queen d5 has a refutation. For example, we have this line and we have a draw. In the game, white played c4. Actually, black in this game was a good friend of mine, Maxim Glucki. So here, black to play and win. That's what actually happened. I think queen a5, I have some move. What is In a5, I can just take an a5. Take an f5 and a6. That's the problem. So Sai has found the right move. Ashia this is not a refutation. I can take back with the queen. Robert Shulaktengo. I will never pronounce that. Robert S has the right move here. Vatsal has the right move. So I want to show you two more things. I'm going to go quickly here. So in the game, black played queen takes b4. Here and here. Now there's a check on f2 coming, and there's a knight takes b4 moment. Game finished. Sorry, not bishop, but pawn g4 and knight d4, and white resigned. So the reason why I was happy about this was I saw this trick, and I saw the exercise correctly with queen d5. But two of my three friends, I only have 3 friends, they found queen d5. Earlier, someone was asking me if I'd been to the US, if I said that they heard I was in the US. It was dangerous there with Corona. And no, I haven't been to the US since last summer. We managed to get Corona here in our house. So we didn't have to go anywhere to have that pleasure. I have to say I was not very badly affected, but Kalya has been quite unwell and for weeks, and that's why she's been slow at reacting to things. Okay. So here, another common mistake is relying on long variations. And we've talked about this a lot, which is the principle of long variation, wrong variation. Someone coming with an observation about the US and so on that I shall stay away from. I think Americans should judge their own situation, and I will just say that here our government takes the coronavirus very seriously, have done just after they all got infected with it and are now self-isolating. So that was probably a useful thing. So here, obviously, white is threatening rook takes c7. If anybody wants to discuss anything not in the session, then please put it on the forum. Yeah, there's a total lockdown in India and many other places. Here we're allowed to go out for exercise, but people go out sunbathing in parks, and for that reason, we might lose the chance to go sunbathing very soon, because people don't go out for the reasons they have. So we might go into a total lockdown soon, which a person would not enjoy. This will not age well. So luckily the course is soon finished. Can I explain that? No, I'm going to explain about relying on long variation. Here we have a suggestion. Rook h8, rook takes c7, rook h2 check, king d3, rook h3. Trying to rely on long variations. We have another line here which is rook d6, rook c7, rook e6, e4, bishop d6, rook b7, rook e7. I think rook takes b6 refutes that line. But what about the variation? Ellen, you are right. What about the variation? Rook h8, rook takes c7, rook h2 check, king d3, rook h3. How can we play? How can white play in this line? So this is the question. I'm going to show the variation so everyone understands what I'm talking about. We are talking about this variation. How can white refute this? We'll go back again because we should think from start. Don't give me just one move. Also see what black's doing afterwards, please. I know I'm pushing you guys. Sai, you have seen it. That's very good. And Jakob, you have seen it. In Russian, you seem to have missed bishop takes e7. So, for example, Doc and Yosefira, you just give one move. That's not really enough. All right, so you have the basic idea. It's good. Jeremy, I think that's just a one move. So after rook h8, I'm being asked here if this seems possible. I think here we have a very good counterplay against the f-pawn. Naren and a lot of more words. And Greg, you both found it. And I think Doc, you got it as well. So this here will give a lot of counterplay. So after take, some people are hoping somehow that white is winning here. Sorry, b6. I would be very scared here. And then they say rook c2, king c2. First of all, I can check you, but I can also go here. Now it will take you a long time to take the c-pawn. So I'm thinking, for example, here I play rook b1, and otherwise I play rook b8. And I don't know, here to try to make some kind of zugzwang. I can come here and here, and I'm in good time. So no, this is too optimistic. In the game, he played here, here, and here. And now the idea is if rook e7, we have this. And white wins. King takes and b6, b7, and wins very easily. In the game, he played bishop e7, but now the pawn is going. It's defending the f-pawn. And black return. So in the starting position, it's a very common thing to rely on a long variation, and in the end of the variation, you're not really sure. While actually in the position here, it's not desperate at all. If black plays bishop d6, White doesn't have any great thing to do. Here, White cannot really improve his position. So if you play e4, I take on f4. The only idea I can see is king f3. And now we have bishop c5. If rook c7, we have rook d3. It's the same basic idea, but continuously I see this mistake that people calculate these very long variations rather than look for the options at the beginning. Good calculation is seeing the options. It is the first thing. Yeah, maybe we can bring the king in if we get time. But here, this basically, we're threatening rook d3. I cannot see a better move than, I don't know. If you take on c7, I play here, and I take, and I can play rook e7, and this time there's no problems. So draws. Okay, our time is up. So I'm gonna rush ahead, and I was just gonna give you this position. That was all. White to play and win, and it's a very nice position, very interesting. And I'm gonna put the position and the solution on the forum under the basis of calculation. And this is just a very difficult position for White, and it's again under seeing the opponent's chances. So here Owen very quickly comes with a variation, which is so that's the question here. Can you try solve it first and then put in the solution? Yes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the diagram, and then I'm going to put a link to the solution. So you can choose yourself when you want to go with the solution. If you're watching this down the line and the form has been updated for some reason that I cannot think of now that it would be, you will be able to at least just stop the position here, put it on a board and think. I'm gonna go, and this was just a quick look at typical mistakes of calculation. There are much more in the back than just these. And for those asking, Kalia is feeling a lot better. This is the first day where she can really breathe well. There was never any liquid in her lung. So, and can I send the homework tomorrow? No, I already answered. No, the deadline was 2 hours ago. If you send it in the next 2 hours, it's okay. But that's it. I understand for some of you it's late and you missed your chance. But you know what? There's a chance again next week. Your life will be fine. Someone sending 10 minutes later, yeah, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. I also mark them. There will be a time when I'll be more strict with the deadlines. If you send it the next day, if some of you, I was a question here, if some of you send in a partially completed and then finish the rest before the deadline or now, and send it very quickly, and then just make it very clear to me that I'm only to check the end, then that's fine as well. How do you see the previous homework club? No, the homework club is live. It is something you have to do in advance of the classes. It's not something which we'll put in the forum because, and this is really main reason why things get deleted from the forum. It is if we just have this huge database of stuff for you to see, you don't get around to it. It is the most common reason for people not to get things done. We would have to pay more in storage to have it on the cloud, especially now when we're using Zoom, which are not cheap, and you guys wouldn't watch it. I'd rather delete them after some time. So you say, okay, I have to watch it. If I want to watch it, I have to watch it now, or forever keep my peace. And then actually, I think more people will get around to watching it and benefit from it. And with the homework club, it is live. You should solve it for this week. If you want to solve things where you don't get feedback, I recommend my books. The books are based on stuff that has been given feedback for in the past, and people work with them, and they're absolutely excellent, says people that I trust. Thank you very much for today. Bye-bye.